the federal authorities with their arms drawn, their guns, and then also all throughout the hours leading up to this, we saw these snipers up here on the roof there trying to survey the crowd and make sure everybody that came in was checked. And that's what we see when we go to all these events, especially when the Secret Service is involved. They check as many people as they can.
Let me just relay to you what I saw when I was at the rally at the People's Convention in Detroit. Because I was back at the media den, standing around where the camera was, where the CNN camera. When Trump was referencing that that the CNN camera light had gone off, and he pointed to the back of the room. I can tell you, I was standing next to a Secret Service agent, and there were two others that were walking or working the corridor in between where the crowd stopped. And there were bleachers to the back of the stadium in Detroit, and to where I was standing with about 30 other media people. And these Secret Service guys, they move and they act immediately when anything out of the ordinary happens and moves. So the Fox News correspondent is talking about the snipers, apparently the Secret Service snipers springing into action and surveying the crowd. There were probably agents there that were surveying the crowd as well. Again, Mike Church here live on the Crusade Radio Network, reporting all that I can right now here for you in Butler, Pennsylvania at 6:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It sounded to me like it was a pair of shots. There were two or three shots rang out, and President Trump grabbed his right ear. I'm almost in tears because this looks like what happened to President Kennedy. When Kennedy was shot through the throat, the first bullet went through his throat, and he went to grab his throat, and that's when the second bullet then hit him in the head. And pray to God that that's not what happened here. We don't know. We have no idea. Fox News does have a reporter on the scene. The Secret Service is clearing the crowd now. Let's go back to the Fox News feed here live at 6:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Re-rack what happened here when President Trump had taken to the stage and was speaking. This is what happened.
Okay, I heard two shots after he's on the ground. Oh my God. If you're listening on the radio, a pair of Secret Service agents on the stage now. Guns drawn, looking at the crowd.
Good. Shooters down. Are we good to move?
Clear.
Let's move. Let's move.
We're clear.
Come on. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. I got you.
Let me get my shoes, sir.
Hold on, your head is bloody.
So we got to move to the front.
Okay, they have him standing up now. He's standing up.
Watch out.
Okay, so they have him standing up here in this shot. That's a fist bump to the crowd. He's waving to the crowd. The Secret Service agents are carrying him off. He's bleeding from just above his right ear. And
so that
just
is
to show you
what happened just moments ago in Pennsylvania.
So they carried him off. They did not put him in an ambulance. They put him in the Beast, or his current version of the Beast. They put him in the Beast, and there was one of the agents slammed a hand slap on the door, as in you're good.
And again, it happens very quickly. It's hard to tell exactly what's happening. There is a moment where.
Okay, so he is facing the direction when the incident occurs. He is facing, if you're looking at the podium, he is facing to his right. And when the first shot rings out, he grabs his right ear, or the right side of his head,
moments as they.
And again, I am
made a plan
relaying to
get
you,
him out of there,
courtesy of Fox
Alexis,
News, the
it's hard
Fox
to tell
News
whether
feed.
He took any kind of actual physical injury, if it was the shock of it, if it was more the forcing him to the ground for his own protection. But he clearly was fully cognizant and aware and speaking and raising his fist to the cheers of folks as he left. I want to check back in with you.
Yeah, so I think one of the things to point out is that people heard pops. That's, we were saying.
I heard, Maggie, how many pops did you hear? I heard 4 pops.
But it sounded like,
The first, after the first pop is when he grabbed his head, and then the second pop.
Fetzer, I'm going to have you kind of show here.
Okay, so I think now, just to relay, and I'll keep Fox playing in the background if we get any details on this. I think now just to relay.
But going back to exactly what we heard, so it was like that series of pops, and then something also important to point out was that smoke. So in terms of what kind of possible weapon or explosive was used, we're still trying to figure it out. The former president did either, probably fall to the ground, was pushed to the ground pretty quickly when they all popped up there, the Secret Service, and tried to jump in and protect him. We saw people swarm. I mean, this place is full of law enforcement, right? You know, Shannon, from going to these large events like this. They check every single person when they come in. They check your bag. They check everything. They want people down. So they were just trying to figure out exactly who was in the crowd, if it was coming from that crowd here where you can see where
After the shots rang out, or after Trump appeared to be hit in the head or was stunned, I can't tell. It looked to me like he was stunned. That almost like you hear a very loud horsefly or some other insect buzz into your ear, and you look around like, where the hell did that come from? And then there were 2 or 3 shots after that, and as soon as the first one grazes him, he reaches with his right hand to his right ear. His MAGA hat comes off, and then he's on the way to the ground. Now, is that because he has rehearsed this? And again, you're hearing the Fox News feed in the background. Is because he has rehearsed this with the Secret Service that if it ever does happen, hit the ground. Because it appeared to me that it was under his own power that he hit the ground, not that he collapsed. The agents rush in and they are surrounding him, and then you can hear there is a conversation going on. Is he good to go? Can we get him up? Can we get him up? Is he good to go? And then after about 30 seconds or so, he is helped to his feet. When he's helped to his feet, he thrusts his right hand into the sky. He gives a thumbs up as they surround him so that he can't be shot again. Bear in mind, and I just want to point this out because there was some chatter about Secret Service agents here recently. Those men surrounded him so that if there are any more shots, they're going to take the bullet.
Top is that we should remember that in any incident like this, of the first 10.
This is the voice of Paul Morrow, former NYPD inspector.
And obviously wait for the facts to come in. It does look like he stood up. He was okay.
He pumped his fist.
He raised his arms. He seemed like he was strong. Does look like a graze wound to his ear or around his head. We don't know, if he had any injuries below that, but, he seemed to be fairly spry. So, there is that. In terms of securing a situation like this, look, it's hopeful at best. You're going to want people when they come in, if there are not metal detectors, which are slow and cumbersome and sometimes...
Okay, I'm going to tell you now, I've seen this clip now 3 times. Trump clearly, when he is brought to his feet, I won't repeat the words, but basically says, F them, as in he has survived an apparent assassination attempt. Let me go live now to my colleague and Second Amendment expert, the armed Catholic Richard Barrett, who is on the Dude Maker hotline here. Richard, I'm stunned, absolutely stunned. What do you did you see this? You have anything to add? What can you tell us?
First of all, Mike, we continue our streak of events that are catastrophic, and you and I are joining that. Secondly, I just got a message from somebody saying, "What do you think about this? What do you think about Trump being shot at?" And I was, I'm going, I'm sitting here watching House. What are you talking about? Trump's being shot at.
And I'm watching Quantum Leap.
Yeah. So I go on to X, which is the only platform to go on, and I see video after video after video of the Secret Service surrounding Trump standing up. First of all, it sounds like a 22. the pops. It doesn't sound like anything heavier than that, which is why Trump got shot in the neck and didn't drop. Because you can see he slaps the back of his neck at the very beginning, almost like a mosquito bite.
Okay.
And then
That's what I said.
he
It's
kind
almost like a bug came in hot, and you go to swat at it because you hear it in your ear. You hear it buzz in your ear.
So secondly, you called this a while back. I know you said at some point this is some kind of assassination attempt will happen at Trump because of the constant vitriol that is being spit his way and the constant fear mongering. You can only call Trump a dictator so long, and you can only say that his return will end democracy and everybody will be in camps and all this other stuff until something happens. Looks like he was shot in the cheek. They're slowing video. Oh no, he was.
There's blood. I'm watching the replay now on Fox, Richard. There is blood coming from his right ear. There's blood in his right ear. And as the Secret Service agents are helping him off the stage, he does pump his fist and go, F them, F them. You can clearly, if you're a lip reader, you can clearly see that. I'll tell you something else that I gleaned from this, and I just wanted to point this out again. Those men that work for the Secret Service, they are draped over him. If any bullets come flying in, and they're like trying to push his head down, like, keep your head down, Mr. President. Head down, head down. But, of course, he's Trump, and he's like, no, I got it. But they are all over him, heroically ready to receive bullets on behalf of the president.
Yep. And I don't know how desperate they are to get Trump back into office, because stuff like this only adds 10 points to his lead. It doesn't matter who they could swap in Big Mike at this point. But when you have a presidential candidate being shot at, it doesn't matter who you run against him. That literally shows that somebody is afraid, that the deep states, or whatever the case may be. You just had a Teddy Roosevelt moment where, Roosevelt gets shot and continues his speech. They literally had to drag Trump off of the stage, as you just said. And the legend of Teflon Don, legitimately in this case, continues to grow.
And Richard, if you go to Twitter, just one of the people that has a video up quickly, I want to thank Nick Sortor. Nick Sortor has that video up really quick from Right Side Broadcasting or from End Wokeness, and you can see blood from the right ear. You can see Trump pump his fist and go, F them, or F it. F it, and you can see the Secret Service agents. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're like making Richard, you're an old rugby player. They're making a scrum around him.
They're getting the ball right now.
Yeah,
they're trying to get the ball.
He's the ball. He's inside the scrum, and they're trying to get him off the stage. Again, Richard Barrett, host of the Barrett Brief here, weekend edition here on the CRUSADE Radio Network, which just aired 6 hours ago. You've just wrapped up 5.5 hours ago. And here Richard and I are on another unplanned late afternoon. This is the third time now covering a live event that we don't want to be covering, and I don't want to have to be talking about. But I can tell you this, he does exit the stage. It's the female Secret Service agent. He must have told her, get my MAGA hat. She has the MAGA hat in the hand. She's like, I have the hat, and they are on him. Just watching the replay now again, and they get him into. It's interesting that they get him into I guess one of the versions of the Beast. And before they get him into
behind that stage.
Yeah, and before they get him into the Beast, he puts his foot on the entry floorboard, pushes himself up under his own power to get in. His head is exposed again, and he pumps the fist in the air again. And drops the F word, and then they push him, they grab him, and they push him into the into the vehicle here. Now, I'm curious as to why you say that's a 22 that you think that you heard.
It's very hard to get shot. The 22s, they have that louder bang, like pop. Okay. Yeah, and so that's just the first inclination I get. When I hear that, 9s are a little heavy, because of the weight of the bullet. The 22 is a very light bullet, so it's going to sound very light. Heavier bullets, it just sounds heavier. I could absolutely be wrong, but it looks like there's 2 shots, one in his cheek and one somewhere around his ear. And if it was anything heavier than that, I think we'd be looking at much more substantial damage to him, unless they were using Full Metal Jacket. Even Full Metal Jacket around the back of the head would have gone clean through, and I don't think Trump would be pumping his fist at that. So that's just my off-the-cuff, not very scientific reasoning for why I think it's a 22. Of course, it could just be the fact that the guy had bad shooting, and it just grazed him, depending on where it looks like he was shooting at him from would be the right side of the stage.
We have an eyewitness from Fox News right now. Let's listen in.
All right,
Protecting the president and doing the best that they could, just springing into action like the selfless people that they are.
Did you see blood on his ear?
Above his ear. It did not look like he was bleeding from his ear. And everybody in the front row, we were just all started praying for him.
And you took cover. I mean, everybody up here too kind of got down. You didn't get down at all? When did you see move in pretty quickly? Did you see the police move in?
Yes. And I guess they're trying to.
Okay. It looks like we have lost Alexis there. So, Britt, I want to bring you back, and then we're going to check in with Lucas as well, who's traveling.
And they probably cut the feed there. So he concurs with you, Richard, that the blood was coming from above his ear.
Yeah. So I'm trying because I'm literally trying to scroll over right now, and the first shot, or the first time he does it, like you said, he's smacking the back of his neck around his ear, which has got to be the result of something hitting, and then he drops. Just out of instinct. So if it was any kind of a heavier bullet, he wouldn't have been able to smack it away, at least in my opinion. So that's why I would think it's probably a 22, something light of that nature. So this is third world country
this
stuff.
This is Banana Republic stuff here, though. But look, as you said, Teflon Don, President Donald John Trump. Again, folks, reiterating here, it's Mike Church here with Richard Barrett. We are live here on the CRUSADE Radio Network. Something I did not want to do today. I was watching Quantum Leap, reruns of Quantum Leap. Richard was watching. What were you watching?
I was on House. I was watching House.
He was watching House, and my dear friend Julie Kopka called me and said, Mike, we were watching the Trump rally. He's been shot. So I went, what? And she goes, go to the TV, go to the TV, go to the TV. So I ran in here, went to the TV, and we came on immediately live as fast as we could. And just to reiterate, by my time, it was 6:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the shot rang out. Here's a replay of it.
Be temporary, and while it may be true for a while that the
this is Britt Hume.
Meanness.
Okay, Richard, I've seen this now about 5 times. He is facing to his right. Okay, so he has his usual podium, both hands on the podium. He's propping himself up on the podium like he usually does. He's facing, if you're looking at him, he is to your left. He's looking to your left, but to his right. And he, in the middle of the sentence, something hits him. He reaches up above his ear as in like, what the hell was that? And then there must have been a second one that hit him somewhere, because it's then that he drops. And to me, this is so eerily similar to what happened to President Kennedy. Because President Kennedy, the first bullet, which came from below the coach of the Lincoln, from the tunnel below, hit him in the throat, right? Went all the way through, and he reaches, and President Kennedy goes to grab his throat, thinking like some giant bee has stung him in his throat, like what the heck? And when he puts his head down, that's when the second bullet enters into his. He is shot again from below, and the exit wound is from the back. It was just too eerily similar for me. I don't know about you folks. Just to repeat. President Trump has apparently been shot at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania at 6:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Secret Service was all over this. I can't say enough again about the heroism of the Secret Service. Those guys get a bad rap. They were all over him, and they were trying to push his head down. You know, if you watch the replay video, they're telling him, like, dude, get your head down, stop. One of them, a pair of them, even have their hands up like in his face area, like, so if there is another shot coming, it's going to hit them in the hands. And Trump obviously pumps his fist into the air a couple times, says F them, F them. The crowd erupts in cheers that he has apparently has not been killed. Here are some still footage, if you're watching this on YouTube, that you can see. These are some still shots now coming in just moments ago now, taken from the crowd. Now, Maggie, look at that one. He has blood strewn across his face. It's across his mouth. It's across his face. So the bullet or the projectile, whatever it was, obviously hit him above the right ear. I can't tell if that is a wound on the cheek or not.
The president immediately.
And we're check back in with the Fox News feed. I'm just eavesdropping to see if they have anything new
in their care. Lucas, please let us know. We will circle back to you if we get any further reaction there from Delaware or from within the Biden White House or campaign, as they are learning probably more than we know at this moment, but certainly in real time. I think former D.C. homicide detective Ted Williams is with us. Ted, are you there?
I'm here.
Ted, I want to get your reaction as a man who has worked in law enforcement. You know what it is like. You have a better sense than we do, probably, of everything that goes into covering protective people who are in the care of law enforcement at every level, primarily federal, when they go out and do this as a former president. Your thoughts on what we've seen this afternoon?
Well, Shannon, this is one of the worst nightmares of law enforcement, specifically the Secret Service, who are charged with protecting the presidents and the former presidents of the United States. When you got a large crowd like you have here, that former President Trump was speaking before, you have all kinds of law enforcement, Shannon, around. You have state, local, and you have federal, and you have specifically the Secret Service. Now, if you see the various pictures of President Trump here on the stage and how the Secret Service moved in right away to get him off the stage, you can see about his face that there appear to be some blood. So there may very well be some injury, and we're just going to have to wait to learn more. But this is something that law enforcement plan for, but no matter how much you plan for something like this, you never can get it 100% right if there's someone hell-bent on injury.
Okay, live here on the CRUSADE Radio Network again with my colleague Richard Barrett. Now that you and I have seen this replay, I know you're watching it on Twitter again. You could, I think, Richard, safely say that whoever shot at him, it was waiting for him to turn to that angle. Because it looks to me, but you're the ballistics guy, it looks to me like the bullet was intended for the skull and either hit him right above his right eye, above his ear, and grazed off, and would create what we would say as a flesh wound, or it just grazed the top of his right ear. But in any event, that wasn't the only shot. So you being the marksman out there, is it in your review of what you've seen? Is it the first bullet that got him, or is it the second one that got him?
I would have to say I'd have to listen to it again because the first shot's going to be the shot. Some people call it a cold shot. Some people will say it's probably going to be the shot that you're going to have the most time to. Another reason why I think it's a 22. 22 they're relatively small, easy to conceal compared to 9s and 380s and things of that nature. But if this person is standing in the crowd and they can take the time, bring their trigger finger on the trigger, bring it to the wall, take a deep breath, and take the shot. And then after that first one goes, then their adrenaline probably starts kicking in. And that's when you just hear the pop, 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 pop in rapid succession, because that wall is broken, that seal is broken. So those shots they're just coming out. So I think the first shot's probably the cleanest shot they were going to have.
Right.
And then the rest of them. It also, this is an obvious caveat, folks. I'm not trying to wipe this off, but this is also going to depend on how much experience, training, and ability this person has to shoot. But the first, my opinion, the first shot's probably going to be the best shot because that's the one they're going to take their time, take the breath, pull that trigger to the wall, which is where you would stop on a trigger if you ever fired one, and then just pull that through. And then after that, just pop, 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 pop.
Now,
so I think it was the first shot that got him.
Let me just add to this, and our colleague Mike Parrot is on our other Dude Maker hotline. We're going to bring Mike in just a second. Mike, here, hang on just a second. I just want to just throw this out there. The Secret Service did not go to the crowd and tackle anyone. Not that I saw or not that I've heard. So it seems to me then that whoever the shooter was or where he was, it doesn't seem to me as though he was in the crowd. There were two witnesses that we've already heard on Fox News. You know, Richard, the guy that wears the suit, the brick suit around, the guy that looks like the suit's made out of bricks. He was in the front row.
Yeah,
the brick wall man. Brick wall man was in the front row. He said he heard 4 shots. And he said that he didn't see anyone that was nearby that was taken to the ground or anything of the sort. Let me bring Mike Parrot in here.
So while you're doing that, Mike, I don't mean to interrupt, but just take this with a grain of salt. News is coming fast and furiously, folks. Multiple people are injured in the crowd right now, possibly one fatally. We don't have that confirmed yet, but multiple people have been reported as injured in the crowd.
A tragedy unfolding. Y'all say Hail Mary prayers right now and pray to the Blessed Virgin Mary for her intercession for all of these people. Mike Parrot, are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here, and I think Barrett's assessment ballistically is correct. I think it was the first shot that hit Trump, and after that, it was just kind of spraying wildly into the crowd. And my number one question was definitely going to be, there's no way someone else didn't get hit. So I'm not surprised that there are bystanders.
So that would be anyone who was behind him and to his right. Then would be in the line of fire here. I can't, Mike Parrot. You're just joining us. Richard and I have been at this for about 10 minutes now. This is not something I wanted to be doing on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, no, I mean, look. I am reminded immediately, my mind went, and I've got Alberto here in the truck with me as well, the most hated man on Catholic Twitter. I am reminded immediately of the Tucker Carlson interview with Donald Trump where Tucker says, hey, Trump, they lied about you, they made up the hoax, they impeached you twice, don't they just have to kill you next? And he kind of shrugs and says, yeah, I guess they do.
And it's because you don't want anyone to tell you that you're going to be assassinated, and you don't want to think that it's possible that it could come true. And we don't know the extent of this. We have no information whatsoever about who, why, what. No information whatsoever. It does seem to me, however, though, if you are familiar with I'll keep Mike on the line here. I don't know, Mike, do you remember in the summer of 2017 or 2018, my friend and my Congressman Steve Scalise was almost killed by Bernie Sanders supporting nutcase who had driven his work van to the site of where the Republicans, the congressional Republicans, were having their practice for the annual Democrats versus Republicans baseball game. And that guy was not a very good marksman, thank the Lord. Sprayed the field. Maybe Richard can shed some light on what ballistics were used. Shot and injured. He hit, I want to say, 3 members of Congress. But the most seriously injured was Representative Scalise, my friend, who I was a young Republican back with in the 1990s, and who's my current member of Congress. And a bullet went into his right side, his right abdomen, exited the left side, tore his spleen open, ripped through a part of his intestines. He almost died of sepsis a couple times. It's a miracle that he survived. But that was that guy sprayed those bullets, Richard, if I remember, from quite a distance here. Mike, do you remember that attempt on the congressional Republicans?
Yeah, I mean, and then Scalise made a remarkable recovery, and then he made himself into congressional leadership. I mean, he's a warrior, just like Donald Trump is a warrior. You heard Trump say, "Stop to the Secret Service." He had to get his moments. You know, he knew he wasn't going to die, and he had to stand up like a man and show the world that he's not scared.
There's of the fascist people or dictators, supposed dictators of the 20th century, Garcia Moreno, for example, that were killed for their devotion to their people, and in Moreno's case, his devotion to the faith. You know, Moreno didn't have a chance to defend himself, basically. So we don't know what would happen to Moreno. This seems like this is something that happens in foreign countries. It happens in Ecuador. It happens in Spain. It happens in Portugal. It doesn't happen in the United States. It happens in Mexico, right? Does it?
Yeah, there was 22. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say just about the Secret Service guys, because I know some of those Secret Service guys. There's a big pipeline from the Marine Corps into the Secret Service. It's a pretty well-traveled career path, shall we say. It is their nightmare to have a president shot when they're standing right next to him. It is the thing that keeps them up at night. And one of the things that Alberto, who's here in the truck, he was like, "How did this happen? The Secret Service is insane." You just went through it, King Dude. You went through the Secret Service.
Sure did.
At the Turning Point USA thing. You know how thorough they are. There's no freaking way someone's getting a gun into that thing. So the first question is, how the hell did this happen?
Well, let me just...
I would have to jump in. Let me real quick. I don't think he was in the crowd. I think you're going to have to, he's going to be outside probably with a rifle.
I agree.
There's probably a nest or something. That's not me. That's Joe Beeman talking to me right now. And secondly, real quick on the Steve Scalise thing, he was shot with an SKS 9 semi-automatic and a 9mm, which is why the damage was much more terrible to him. All right, back to you guys.
Well, Richard, I just want to stay with you for just a moment here. And how far of a distance is a 22 good for?
It depends on if you know what you're doing. You can adjust for windage, height, all these kinds of things. Any bullet's going to lose velocity the farther it goes. Now, a 22 is not going to be great for extremely long distances, but you don't have to be that far outside of the rally. You just have to, where the perimeter of the Secret Service is, and then just kind of get outside of that.
Let me just jump in here. Let me just jump in quickly, folks. Mike Church here with Richard Barrett, Mike Parrot, here on the Crusade Radio Network. We are live. It is 5:53 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 6:53 Eastern Standard Time. Trump campaign statement just put out. President Trump thanks law enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. He is fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. More details will follow. This follows with a Secret Service press release, and the Secret Service is reporting that the president is safe. Their words, quote, "The president is safe," or the former president is safe. So they have gotten him obviously away from this scene and this scenario here. I don't have a vantage point or a view of how large this crowd was in Butler, Pennsylvania, or where it was, or where the venue was. Was it at a ball field? He does them at airports sometimes. So I can't give you a visual on this. But to Mike Parrot's point, yes, Mike, I was in Detroit. The room, we went in Saturday morning, we were told, get here an hour early. Secret Service is doing security, not the DPD. So, as instructed, me and Bob Kaka and Bug Hall got there an hour early, and we all had to go through super security. They tied us up for an hour. We were an hour late getting in because they were sweeping the hall with the dogs. And then finally, when we were able to go through security, It was the Detroit Police Department in cooperation with Secret Service agents, and we were instructed to. This is as bad of a TSA as you ever go through. You didn't have to take your shoes off, but empty your pockets. You had to go through a super sensitive metal detector. Anything other outside of a belt or anything to set that metal detector off, you had to take it out. I stupidly had my utility knife in my pocket and throw it to guys like, dude, you're not coming in with that, bro. So I went through all that. But let me tell you, to Mike Parrot's point, let me just tell you, we all get into the hall. We all go through Secret Service. There's 450 some odd of us on what they called Media Row, including about, 30 or 40 Turning Point USA guys and about 150, 200 volunteers. We are then all a horn of sorts is sounded. Secret Service agents begin at the back of the hall, which is about 600 yards long, and begin in a line, making their way towards the front. By the time they get to us, they're like, y'all got to get out. Everyone has to get out now. Out. They are taking, you're at a convention, so your table has like a tablecloth, a bunting around it. They are going just methodically in a line like they're searching for someone, and as they get to our table, as they tell us we got to get out, they throw the tablecloths up and over to make sure there's nothing under the tablecloths. We are all told to exit. We are taken to a part of the hall that is about 50, 100 feet from where they kind of direct everyone to go into the hall. And we have to wait there for about an hour and a half while they sweep that hall again. That's how thorough, Mike Parrot, the Secret Service was. And then they let all of us back in. So Bug and I were in a line for about 2 hours.
Yeah, and again, and I think Richard is right. It was from the echo of the shot. If you were to time the echo of the shot to the realization on Trump's face that he had been hit, that round traveled about as far as that round was supposed to travel, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's someone who even got inside. This was a sharpshooter, a sniper of some kind, or an attempted sniper, and that makes the shot even more impressive, frankly, because if you're shooting from a quarter to a half mile away, and you miss the dead center of your target, which is his face, which is what they were trying to hit, right into his skull, the base of his skull. Only missed it by 2.5 inches. You could say this country was 2.5 inches from civil war, and still may be headed that way.
Statement of the day there, brother. 2.5 inches from Civil War. Richard Barrett, you're our ballistics guy and our gun expert here. Is a 22 from that round, even if it makes a square on impact, capable of penetrating a human skull?
It could. No. 22s are notorious for bouncing off. They're not really powerful, which is why I'm going back and forth with Joe Beeman right now, who's letting me know things about the 17 HMR round. It's a little bit of a different round. It's got better velocity. It can go about 2,600 feet per second. It's got a little bit better distance on that. And so we're looking at something in that. It's still a light round. We're still looking at a light round here, just a little bit stronger. 22s have been known to either penetrate and bounce around or bounce off completely because of the fact that there's not a lot of power. Because the power in your shot comes from the powder. There's not a lot of powder in the 22 or any of these small caliber weapons. So they're not, the best you're going to hope for is something like that. So no, I wouldn't count on a 22. 17 HMR would probably be a better choice. It makes that same lighter pop that a lot of us have agreed on. I don't have a lot of experience with the 17 HMR, which is why I'm kind of relying on Joe here to let me know that. But it's definitely a lighter round, and the lighter the round you go, Mike, I know this much, the lighter the round, the more likely it's not going to penetrate, it's going to lose steam, you're going to have a misfire. There's a lot more things that can go wrong with it.
Well, let me ask then the question of, let me go back to Mike Parrot and Alberto here on the CRUSADE Radio Network. Well, then this suggests that this is an amateur, doesn't it? Because a professional would have used the proper caliber to take him out, wouldn't they? Let's talk reality here, right? If you're trying to kill him, you're not going to fire from 300 yards with what amounts to a pea shooter, are you?
I mean, and well, let me throw another scenario at you, not to be like Mr. Conspiracy or anything like that, but if you know you're for sure not going to kill him, but maybe put him into the White House. I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah, how long is it going to take for the other media to come up with this scenario? Because they're going to bring ballistic guys in too, Mike and Richard, and they're going to say what I just said, and they're going to bring them in and they're going to say what I just said. Yes, Maggie.
Well, I was just going to say, though, how long has the mainstream media been calling him Hitler, Nazi, extremist? They've done this for years and years and years, ginning up the left for violence, for an act like happened today.
Yeah, here, let me just read you some tweets here, Mike, Alberto, and Richard, as we are covering this all live in real time. Marjorie Taylor Greene, just moments ago, someone just tried to assassinate President Trump. I should say Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene. The Democrats and the media are to blame for every drop of blood spilled today. For years and years, Maggie, as you just said, they've demonized him and his supporters. Today, someone finally tried to take out the leader of our America First and the greatest president of all time. Watch the video. President Trump said, "Fight, so we will." I thought he was saying F words. Richard, I saw F bombs. F them, F them, F them. Is that what you saw?
That's the press cleaning that up, because there's no way anybody. There's no way. If I'm getting shot at, I'm not going to say "go fight, win." And you guys have been around me when I've stubbed my toe. And pretty much, if somebody hits me with a 22, I'm going to have to go to confession after I recover from the hospital, because everything's coming out of the mouth at that point. Every single thing is being unloaded, so to speak.
So just to wrap up Elon Musk. 2.2 million people have already seen Elon Musk. Just posted a photograph on, this is real Elon Musk now, of Trump's fist pumped into the air, the American flag waving in the background. This may be the Time-Life photograph of the year here.
Officially announced he's endorsing Trump.
Musk has just come out. When was this?
Just now.
Minutes ago, Elon Musk has endorsed President Trump for president. Mike Parrot, this is going to be the Time-Life photograph of the year. I know you and Alberto are driving and you can't see it, or maybe Alberto has pulled it up because he is the most hated man on Twitter. And if he goes to his home feed, just go to Musk's feed and you'll see the photograph. As a matter of fact, Maggie, if you click on my screen, if you can show the people on YouTube my screen. This is, I will full screen this so you can see it. This is the photograph that I am referring to here. This is a female Secret Service agent who has President Trump. She's trying to get him off the stage. His right hand is pumped in the air. He has two streaks of blood, Mike Parrot, Richard Barrett, and Alberto, across one just below his nose, across the top of the bridge of his upper lip. The second streak of blood goes just below the mouth. As a matter of fact, Richard, if you can see this, that suggests to me, I'm not Dexter from the TV show, and I'm not a blood splatter analyst, but that suggests to me two shots.
When he was down.
Or was it when he was down, it pressed against him? In any event, Musk has posted his photographs. This is probably the Time-Life photograph of the year here, to see this in go ahead.
That first one looks too deep. That's a graze. I think both, because if you look at it, the first one coincides with the ear. So it looks like the ear and then downward, which would also go with the reports of people being injured in the front row. And then the second one looks like a graze as well. Those look deep enough not to be like blood trails. That actually looks like, scraping across the skin. This is all obviously, off-the-cuff analysis on that.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is reporting or repeating what we reported earlier, which people at the rally have been shot as well. So say your Hail Marys for the people at the rally, possibly one fatally. We don't have any details on that. Again, we are reporting on all these events in real time, live, as they are occurring here on the Crusade Radio Network. Much will be revealed in the coming hours, I'm sure, and we'll learn much. Let's just eavesdrop on the Fox News feed and see if they have anything new.
People on the ground are saying, I'm fairly familiar with firearms. At least that's what it sounds like. But until somebody definitively from the Secret Service or local law enforcement says that, you don't know. You also have local law enforcement. Local law enforcement is going to be there. You're going to have tactical teams. You're going to have SWAT teams. You're going to potentially have National Guardsmen there. That are there to support the effort. When you have such a large, massive crowd, you have law enforcement of all sorts that is there. So, the initial reaction from the Secret Service looks to be pretty amazing, to jump in front and cover up the president, get him into that motorcade, and get him to there are going to be multiple different hospitals or extraction points for the president. And the Secret Service, that's what they're doing. That's what they're paid to do. But it's more than that. They've got to have guts to get it done. And when the president stood up and pumped his hand, blood coming from his ear and his fist, the guy's a fighter. You could say a lot about Donald Trump, but he is a fighter.
And just jumping in on this,
Jason Chaffetz.
Elon Musk saying the last time, just echoing you, Richard, last time America had a candidate this tough was Theodore Roosevelt. So, what do you know what Roosevelt was shot at with? I don't know the history of that one.
that's a good question, but I don't know exactly what he was shot with, but yeah. No. Good question. I'd have to look into that.
I am scrolling through Twitter, as I'm sure everyone else is, and of course we are praying for the people in the crowd now. Just to reiterate here on the Crusade Radio Network, when news breaks out, we break in as always. And again, Richard Barrett and I together on another afternoon. We didn't want to be together, not to cover this event. At 5:50. What was the time again? 5:16, I think, or 5:36 p.m. Central Standard Time. There were at least 3, maybe 4 shots that rang out at a Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. President Trump was struck at least once, just above or at the top of his right ear. He fell to the stage. The Secret Service descended on the stage, they're already there, and surrounded him so that he couldn't be shot at again. He was taken off and put into the Secret Service Mobile, or the Beast, or the former president version of a Secret Service Mobile. As soon as he was able to stand, he asked that his MAGA hat be picked up. The female Secret Service agent picked the hat up. He pumped his fist into the air.
Not characterize it that way, so we'll be cautious in our information.
And I'm just checking in to see if they're replaying the particular video feed from the instance that it happened. President Trump was put into the car. Now, again, I can only go on what I can see on the video here. It appears to me, Mike Parrot, have you actually been able to watch this video?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So,
and this is just coming in now. Audio reveals the Secret Service saying shooters down before they got Trump off the stage. So that seems to me to indicate that they got the shooter already.
Oh, shooter is down.
The Spectator Index is also reporting that the person who shot Trump is dead.
So the shooter. So they now are they reporting that he was in the crowd?
We haven't gotten that far yet, because right now everybody's being told to leave. Secret Service is core the crime scene, so they're getting everybody out. Secret Service is moving tourists away from the White House. That's not us, but yeah, it's just they're saying he's dead. We don't know where in the crowd it was, if it was even in the crowd.
Okay, so we don't have any information on that. There is a guy, Saruba Sharma, who is reporting that a body was just carried out. And I can see Pennsylvania, Mike and Richard, I can see Pennsylvania state troopers carrying what looks to be a body out. This looks to me that body is, it looks like they're on the stage.
He was behind Trump.
So, looks like they're behind him.
So if he was behind the stage, Mike Parrot, then this is a Sirhan moment, because Sirhan did not shoot Robert F. Kennedy Jr. A CIA operative shot him from behind. And as the autopsy has revealed, RFK Sr. was shot from behind. Sirhan was standing in front of him. It looks to me like whoever's being carried off is being carried off from what looks to me either to be in a bleacher that was facing the stage. Maggie, is that what I'm looking at? Or he's behind the stage, because there is a bleacher that is behind the stage.
I'm thinking that he was there for the rally. He doesn't appear, because he wasn't handcuffed or anything like that. Granted, he's probably dead, but still, they take all kinds of precautions. I think that was a spectator.
Okay, so then we just, we don't know, but the Pennsylvania State Troopers, and there was 5 or 6 of them, did carry a body of some sort off of the stage here. Again, folks, we are reporting all this live. We're doing the best that we can, trying to bring you whatever information is out there and is available. And again, I keep checking back in with the Fox News feed. I'll do so again.
2015. When he showed up in Alabama in August of that year, and that massive turnout was there, you knew there was something behind this movement. And you knew it was something that drew thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of people, starting at that rally in 2015 and going through now in the summer of 2024. Chris, what are your concerns when you see tens of thousands of people who have gathered in open fields, and understanding the challenge of keeping an event like that safe? Not just once, but time after time after time.
Yeah, Bill, as good as the Secret Service are at what they do, and they are all about planning, reacting, they're good at reacting, but they don't want to be in a situation where someone has close enough access to do harm to our president. So, that's their primary job. And they will tell you they've never fired their gun.
Mike Parrot, you're the only one that's on this phone call right now that's ever been actually in the line of fire and has actually had other men trying to kill you, shooting at you. Tell us what's going on in the minds of these Secret Service agent guys.
Yeah, I mean, just what they were about to say on Fox News is absolutely right. You consider it a good day if you do not have to discharge your firearm. Period. End of story. There is no glory in having to pull your weapon. One thing we know about Secret Service, too, as well, and this distinguishes them from other law enforcement, they do not keep their weapons on safe. Because if they have to draw their weapon, they are firing their weapon, period. There is, other law enforcement, like, typical police departments, even FBI, they keep their weapons on safe. There's an extra precaution before they actually can discharge a round. Secret Service is not like that. The weapons are ready, are condition 1 at all times, ready to go. This is their number one fear. And look, Secret Service gets assigned to all kinds of people. It's the president, his family, his children, his cousins, sometimes the siblings, the brothers, all kinds of things.
Right.
The best of the best are